Hi guys, it's David James from Business Growth Digital Marketing, and in today's show, we've got a very talented and amazing SEO from the other side of the world who is based in the Middle East, who's doing some big things and publishing some amazing things. I want to introduce the amazing Naguib Toihiri. Welcome aboard.
Thank you very much, David. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know Naguib, he's going to give us a bit of an introduction about who he is, what he's been doing, and what's been happening in the sunny United Arab Emirates.
Hey, so my name is Naguib. So I've been working here in Dubai for the last 4 years at the RBBi, which is a digital marketing agency, one of the leading UX agency in the region. We are now about like 45 people, consultant in different fields of the marketing, so SEO, PPC, analytics, and I'm leading the SEO team. We're talking about like 10 people. So we've been recently awarded at the MENA Search. So apparently we're not too bad at doing SEO.
Congratulations. And I also heard that you won the Search Personality of the Year award.
Yeah, I mean, thank you very much. Yeah, I was really glad. The idea and the headline of this awards, it's not about me being the best SEO in the region, even though I wish I was. The idea is that for the last 4 years, I've done my best to bring knowledge in the region. So I've been doing SEO my whole professional life, basically, talking about like 7 years.
Wow.
And I try my best to set up like a lot of workshops in the region, but because we couldn't like find many of them talking about like search marketing. So that's what helped me achieving this big award, basically.
Yeah, so it's one of the really interesting things that I've seen with your work where you've been publishing white papers and you've been setting up workshops. And I've been able to have chats with other SEOs, and one of the common things that we all are discussing is the need to educate people about like the industry and what's needed. So it really looks like you're taking the front foot, on this type of area. Could you just give us a bit more of a background as to like why you think it's really important in the MENA region?
So if you are doing this status back to the UK, and I know you've worked in the big agencies like Big Mouth in London,
Yeah.
that's exactly the same situation here in the Middle East. So basically, as a quick example, we were the first agency, SEO agency, working on Qatar Airways website.
Super.
So this is something that will never happen in the UK. Like British Airways, I think they might have like, if they don't do it internally, they might have like thousands of different agencies doing
Yes.
SEO before for them. So that the thing is like we came like a it was very new for the region,
Hmm.
which is like amazing. So the potential is completely unleashed. Can be unleashed. Sorry. And the idea as well is that we couldn't get many local insights. So we based most of our benchmark, our data based on like the UK and the US insights that we got from big players. So the idea is to come as well to try to collect local insights to
Hmm.
make our work more efficiently and
Yes.
basically do better our work for our clients. So
Yeah.
that's the idea.
That's interesting you said that because another thing that we've been talking about a lot is how data is really driving the SEO strategy nowadays. If you've got an absence of data, you really need to be creative with getting that data. That's really interesting in an emerging market. What are some of the ways you like to get the data to help you with your SEO
Ah,
strategies?
That's a very good point. So actually trying to get as much data as we can. We are very happy recently that tools like SEMrush
Yes.
released a couple of like data in the region, in KSA, and so Saudi Arabia and in the UAE, which
Okay.
help us a lot because if we don't have like this local data, we can't properly identify number of competitors, the search volume. Sounds stupid, but
Hmm.
the lack of, for example, the search volume data available in
Yep.
Arabic on Google Ad Planner, it's ridiculous.
Yep.
So the thing is like we're very happy. I mean, surprisingly, another example, AWR, so Advanced Web Ranking,
Yes.
didn't have Qatar as a country
Hmm.
before we asked them
Oh
to add
wow.
it.
Oh,
So that's a
excellent.
tip. Yeah. So that's a, so I'll let you imagine like the level of stuff that we need to kind of raise. So that's a good thing because we see this evolving quite quickly recently.
Yep.
So AWR is an example. SEMrush is an example, and another perfect example as well is Deep who more and more have like a good relationship with them closely, come to the region to meet as well the support team. So
Yep.
step by step, by getting those big tools and big players of the SEO industry providing more data locally will help us and will help them as well to unleash the potential.
It really sounds like you guys are pioneering things in the region.
Yeah, well, I'm trying our best. It seems that people are interested, but obviously it's a lot of education. And it's all about like knowledge flow before cash flow. If people don't know what you do and why you do it, there is no way that they will be interested in like buying your product or your services.
Yeah.
So it passed through like the knowledge and education, but yeah, it goes well, I think.
Yeah, I've been fortunate to work in a few different markets. I've done SEO in the UK. I'm currently doing a lot of work in Australia and in the US. I noticed that there's a different sense of like knowledge and education level that's required for each market. For example, in Australia, I find that there's a lot of education needed to really get clients to understand what the true value is in doing SEO, especially since it's a market with much lower volume across a lot of industries. In your case, you're dealing with an emerging market, so like there's so much opportunity, but trying to demonstrate that value is going to be a challenge. So how do you overcome some of those challenges?
So, I mean, obviously, we need to have as well the right client in front of us, clients that are interested in like growing their online presence. We've seen it, and we definitely see the business growing. I mean, just as an example, the RBBi, I started and I joined RBBi. We were about like 10 people back to 2013. We are now like 45. So we demonstrate the progress and the interest of local actors in the region. The fact as well that big players, and I don't know if you've seen recently the acquisition of Amazon, who recently acquired Souk.com, which is the big e-commerce in the region.
No, I didn't
help
see
as
that.
well on. Okay, so actually this is a big change in the region, and I would say I see definitely like a great future in the search marketing in the region, especially because we are moving from like a traditional commerce to like e-commerce. So Dubai is famous for all those malls, Dubai Mall and etc. So and now we're moving to like online retail and like e-commerce. So this will play a big game for like all the search marketers basically. So a lot of potential. Every single day we receive an RFP of e-commerce starting in the region.
Yeah. Oh, look, that's awesome. I find that a lot of the really, really big opportunities, are coming in the e-commerce space, and it doesn't matter which part of the world you're in, because SEOs can work on a major site that has a lot of pages that can generate a lot of traffic and a lot of leads and sales. Are you guys trying to focus more on the growth of the e-commerce sector? In terms of like getting SEO and helping SEO clients?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's something that will grow a lot this year. And another thing as well, which is like very particular to Dubai, we don't necessarily advertise and market for the region. So most of the headquarters of the Middle East region are in Dubai, but they don't necessarily market for the region. So we actually have clients that are here but market China. They are here, but they market Russia.
Yes.
So the thing is, like, we need as well, kind of like in the middle of the world. So we need as well to have the capabilities to do search engine optimization for as well those markets. So not necessarily Google, but in China, Baidu. In Russia, Yandex, and Naver in Korea. So that's kind of like very specific as well to the region that we need to be aware and help our clients to kind of like educate them as well on those search engine optimization or international one.
Yeah, that's really cool. With the kind of projects you're working on in that region, are you seeing that you're getting more of an impact through doing, let's say, like content focused SEO or technical? Which areas, in your opinion, is quite interesting?
First of all, I want to be honest with you. Obviously, SEO, it's a race. It's you versus your competitors.
Yes, exactly.
And you know it. And the thing is, like here, I told you we are one of the first, leading agency talking about like search marketing, and we've been awarded recently for that. The thing is, like the competition is very low.
Yes.
So it means that if I've done that back to, and I've done SEO in France, or if you do that in UK, the result wouldn't be the same. So we have like 4 times more. Uplift whenever we talk about like organic visits, just doing the basics of SEO. So we are very lucky on like being the pioneer in this market, in this industry.
Yeah.
The thing is like here, so because we start with the basics, the very basics, mainly like technical at the moment. Very very basics at the bottom of the famous Maslow pyramid of SEO.
Yes.
As a typical example, we know our main struggle for any SEO project at the moment is duplicate issue. And I actually watched the last video interview that you've done with Homicido.
Yes.
It was really good, and he had like
Thank you.
this image of content is king,
Yes.
and but they need the castle, right?
Yes, exactly.
So
Yes.
so the idea is so the idea is the same. So basically, it sounds ridiculous and very basics, but we had like about a dozen of duplicate issues.
Yes.
Most of our clients, HTTP, HTTPS,
Yep.
3W, non-3W, trading slash, non-trading slash,
Yep.
some folders as well
Yeah.
that duplicate the instances of the website. So basically, those elements are very, very critical here in the region. So that's why we partnership and very close to Deep Crawl
Yes.
to help us a lot in that part.
Yeah.
A very strong crawler. So yeah.
Yeah.
So I've done that for like one of my main clients for about like only 9 months of doing technical SEO.
Yeah.
Without publishing any content, without creating any content, without optimizing any content, we've seen an uplift of about like 25% organic
excellent.
traffic, and about the same. Actually about like 30% in organic revenue.
Yeah.
In the same period.
And that's fantastic.
Only by doing technical. So basics. Yeah.
There's people out there who like they scream like, "Oh, SEO is dead." You know, like technical SEO is dead. You know, don't do links. Guest blogging links are finished. You know who those people are online. Don't name names, but like we know who who they are. But like what you've just said, like it's proof that it does work. Just coming back to what Omi said about the castle. You know, like if you build a great foundation, then you have the potential to grow. And sometimes you do find the quick wins. Like in addition to that, have you seen any other influence like with like content marketing in the region or like link building in the region? Yeah, or the use of social, just like anything else?
I mean, obviously, once the foundation, technical foundation for some clients, I'm talking about like the largest one here, or mainly like Qatar Airways took us like 3 years ago, took us a lot of time to do this technical setup. Obviously, we're talking about like a multi-million visitors website.
Yes, yeah.
For the others that are using like very basics CMS like WordPress, so the time that we optimize the technical foundation is not very long. So what we do usually it's content, or kind of like optimizing the pages, creating like making sure that all their product has like a decent amount of content, 300 words, 400 words, whenever it's realistic with the setup of the website. And I would say one of the elements as well that we've seen, and that's actually recently we've been awarded, which is Hertz.ae, so the car rental company. Yeah, it's actually we've seen a lot of like spammy links.
Yes.
So we're still like same as what we've seen like a couple of years ago back to US and the UK about like buying links and all those.
Yes.
It's a common practice.
Yes.
But buying links and stuff is common practice. So we need to go back to the basic of like link toxicity, etc. So we're using like a link research tool and other tools, making sure that the foundation are clean before setting up the correct technical implementation and moving forward for optimization of the content, basically.
That's really good. Now, another thing I want to ask you about is, obviously, you are a very talented SEO and you've got a very talented team. But one of the common challenges, especially with working on enterprise level sites, is you can't just dive in and implement everything. You need to be able to organize a process and organize a strategy and to be able to coordinate in order to make sure that whatever your SEO vision is, that actually materializes. How do you approach that challenge, or how would you even suggest for other SEOs to approach that type of challenge?
I mean, that's very typical for the SEO, and that's why we love it. It's because we are in the middle of the digital marketing field. You have to deal with IT from a technical standard. You have to deal with marketing when related to content. You have to deal with social media and PR whenever you're talking about like outreach. So we are very in the middle. And whenever talking about like big brands like such as Qatar Airways, it's like the big challenge, because you are talking about like what 90 about like 100 stakeholders all around the world.
Yeah, exactly.
And obviously the least easiest one are the French one, and I'm from France, so I know it for a fact. So the thing is like, but you need to make sure that you obviously like point the right point of contact,
Yes.
to make sure that we work smoothly and not having like 100 decision makers.
Yes.
So, and we actually do it pretty well with Qatar Airways, and I think that's why it works. Making sure that we spread and we share regularly what we've done at the global level to the stakeholders, making sure that they are aware about those implementations, so they don't feel that they are completely like out of the scope.
Yes.
And involve them when needed, especially when you're talking about like which is one of the key elements, especially in the region I told you before, which is the content localization. I'm not talking about content translation. I'm very lucky here that my team, more than half of the team, and I'm the exception, are Arabic native speaker.
Awesome.
And that's something like unique in the region. Yeah, obviously. I mean, we are in the Middle East. Arab language is the most popular language in the region. So you need to have like Arabic native speaker to properly do your content adaptation and your content localization, and not using Google Translate. Otherwise, you know what you're going to get as a result.
Yes.
So that's more or less the...
One of the impressive things I saw about yourself was how many language markets either you've dealt with or that you're dealing with. That's something that a lot of SEOs, and that's myself as well, like we don't have experience. Do you see that becoming a more important trend in the future?
I mean, that's as we've just discussed before. Whenever you talk about like search engine optimization, it's not necessarily Google, so it's not necessarily English. So basically, depend on like the search engine that you are optimizing, the requirements are different, and depending on the language, there is so many specificities. Whenever we hire like a new person, we definitely try to. It's a unique selling point. If you have like a language that we don't have in house already, it helps, because for Qatar Airways, for example, we have about like we manage around like 12 languages. So it's very important to have like a native speaker whenever you talk about content optimization. I think this is key. I mean, that's.
Yeah, I was fortunate to do a little project in Japan, and one of the interesting ways I saw search engine optimization being used was people, they were actually searching by taking photos of the Japanese characters. So instead of typing out the kanji, the people who are advertising on the boards needed to write the short language characters, the kanji, that would be optimized for mobiles to be able to pick it up and automatically search on mobile devices. So like that was something I wasn't exposed to in like the Australian market or US or UK market. Is there something like that in the Middle Eastern market, or like with Arabic?
I mean, definitely. I mean, there is no one Arabic. There is like about like 20 different Arabic, depending on the country. So this is where like here the segmentation and to know what audience you are targeting is very key, because what we call like the Khaliji, they're not going to use the people from the Gulf countries. They're not going to use the same language as like the people from the Levant, so like people from Jordan, from Syria, etc. So this is very specific. So whenever you optimize and you want to target an audience, you need to make sure that you use a specific language, and the specific, even the words are not using the same. And it's very, typical to the region. So in one side, you have like a very large part of the world which is speaking the same language, but at the same time, each country have different specificities. And when I'm talking about specificities, it's like almost a different language. It's not only a dialect; it's a language.
Yeah, like that. That was another question I was going to ask you, because like when people talk about like the Middle East, or if they talk about Africa, it's not just one country. There's so many different people. There's so many different cultures, subcultures, communities, languages. It'd be great to just hear your thoughts about what is the real Middle East and what is the real Africa, in terms of an SEO strategy.
The real Africa. Yeah. I've done a couple of years ago like a presentation about Google in Africa, and one of the first, because I was very interested in seeing what is Google like doing in Africa, trying to like give access to the internet to like the lot of population. And we know it's the continent of the future, and definitely with the low penetration rate for some countries.
Yes.
Just the fact of like increasing the penetration rate, this like increased a lot of opportunities. One of the elements of this presentation was Africa. When we're talking about Africa, we feel like it's one country. No, it's not. We're talking about like more than 1 billion people.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, so the thing is, like, when we talk about Africa, we have the feeling that we're talking about like one country, but that's not the case. Africa is a very large continent. So in terms of size, Africa is actually bigger than USA, China, Europe, and India combined.
Wow.
We
That's
don't realize
amazing.
that on the map, but this is very large area. We're talking about like plus than 1 billion people,
Yes.
talking about like 55 countries.
Yes.
And in terms of languages, when we're talking about like specificities of languages, what we should like localize the content, we're talking about like more than 1,000 languages in Africa
Wow.
spoken.
That's amazing.
So that's huge. And the same applies to the region here. So same applies like to the Arabic region.
Yes.
That's why we need to tailor the languages in line with the audience that you are targeting.
Yes. What you said is exactly spot on. You need to really understand exactly who the audience is down to the micro level. Not just getting some general demographics. Know exactly who it is, languages, like location, what's their interest, what motivates them, and then base everything off the data, and then tailor it because it is quite a fragmented market.
Of course.
Yeah.
And then that's core. That's not something small. I mean, that's if you're not able to identify the audience, what they are talking, you're gonna miss. I mean, the core of our SEO activity are the keywords, are the content.
Yeah.
So if you don't identify what word are they using, what specificities are they using,
Yes.
you're gonna miss like your business. So that this is
Yes.
not a small topic. This is actually the most important one.
Yes. Yeah, but like what you've said is like you've just been able to share a lot of very, very valuable insights. I want to thank you for being on the show today, because what you've been able to share with us and the audience has been nothing short of exceptional, especially when it comes to the Middle Eastern and African market, and also being able to manage other international campaigns as well, and how people are approaching that when they're doing business in the region. I just want to ask, like, where can people find you and follow you, and also learn more about like some of the white papers you've done, and also find some of your workshops?
So you can find me on like Twitter. I would say I'm trying my best to be a little bit active those days, especially when there is like conferences like SMX was there yesterday and Brighton SEO. So I'm trying to be active during those events. On LinkedIn as well. We're very happy to receive your invitation. Talking about the white paper, so hopefully it's gonna be released by the end of the month, or on the final touch of revision. Some insights about like the region. So what is specific to the Middle East? We are very looking forward to get the mobile first index actually to be released by Google, because we are in the mobile first country, I would say, even like a smartphone first country, one of the highest penetration rates of smartphone in the world, talking about like 94%.
Wow, that's
so something
amazing.
like this in UAE, and it applies as well for other countries in the region. Qatar the same. So mobile first approach. The second tip will be like the Arabic content localization, and that's very key. I think it's even like worth it having a specific video interview about that, because there is very many specificities about like what language. So I talked to you about like the Arabic, depending on the countries, but as well the RBBi, which is like the Latin characters in Arabic. So that's another one. The third one is like Google said recently that there is 15 times less businesses online on Google My Business in the region if you compare with the US and the UK. So 15 times. I'm talking about like 5 times, 15 times less. So the opportunities for local search in the region are huge, huge. So that's the thing. And finally, I don't know if you know, but Saudi has the highest number of views on YouTube all around the world.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Some studies, so we are a big fan of YouTube. Some studies put it just after the US.
Okay.
When the population, talking about like very small population compared to the US. So here we watch a lot of like videos on YouTube. So this is where YouTube optimization and search optimization on YouTube is something that has a big potential in the region, an amazing one. So I think that's about it as like the 4 tips if you want to unleash your potential in the Middle East region.
You've been dropping some amazing tips. So again, I want to thank you for being on the show, sharing your expertise, sharing your insight, and hopefully we can
My
have
pleasure.
hopefully we can have you on the show again in the future. You know where to find them, guys. Thanks again.
Thanks a lot. Thank you very much, DJ.